Mansoor. You're listening to First Exit to Springfield. What's happening? I'm here with a very special guest, Josh. What's good? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Where are you joining us from?
I'm from near St. Louis.
Missouri.
Yeah, close enough.
That's cool. The majority of our listeners are in the UK, so you just got to let them know. We're international here right now.
I'm from the United States.
That's cool too, man. I think at the time of recording, we're pre-apocalypse, so we'll look upon you favorably.
That's good. I appreciate that.
Cool. All right, man. As I said, really glad you joined us today because I understand you're a huge fan of The Simpsons.
I am.
Excellent. I have no doubt that you got 3 amazing episodes to walk us through today. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you, as I ask every guest ever, how you got into the show The Simpsons.
I don't know. Honestly, just because it came out when I was 4, and I don't ever remember a time I didn't watch The Simpsons.
It's like one of those ever-present things.
It's always been a part of my life.
Did you watch it with your family growing up, or is it just kind of...
Me and my brothers watched it. My parents were never really into it.
Nice. You also run a podcast yourself, right? About, another TV-themed podcast about the OC.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I'd love to hear about it, and I'm sure the listeners would love to hear about that.
Yeah, it's called PortlandCA. You can check us out at PortlandCA.com. I'm trying to hop on that trend. You know how everybody's talking about the OC after it got canceled 10 years ago? You gotta strike the iron, man.
You're a few years late, man. I feel like I'm kind of doing it with this, right? We're at the tail end of The Simpsons right now. I mean, they're 30 years deep, and it's bound to wrap up soon. So I think I got in there just in time, maybe.
Maybe. But you never know. I mean, everyone said it was going to wrap up 10 years ago, and look where we are.
This is true. We've no doubt kind of passed the golden age, like by some 20 years. Do you know what's interesting is that there's a trend in the previous episodes of this podcast series where every listener claims they got into The Simpsons through... Do you remember those old VHS tapes of The Simpsons? They were like you'd get like 4 episodes kind of seemingly randomly selected.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems the way that everyone seems to have got into it.
Well, I don't know if you guys have FX, the TV station over there.
Oh, no.
So in the United States, there's this station called FX, which is owned by Fox. And they actually have an app where it has every episode of The Simpsons ever. And it has playlists on it where like you could just start Mr. Burns playlist and it'll play Burns heavy episodes.
Wow.
Homer's Jobs and stuff like that. And it's really cool.
Oh man, we need that here.
Yeah.
It comes on TV like maybe once a day out here, maybe. Like, so, you might catch 5 episodes a week. So like, it's definitely not available on demand.
Oh, yeah. It's all over on demand here.
I do love visiting the US. I've gone to the parts of the US that are like the all British people seem to go to, right? Like kind of the East Coast and the West Coast. And I really feel I should explore a bit in the middle.
There's not much. Where I am, I'm like 2 hours from St. Louis, Missouri, and about 4 hours from Chicago, Illinois.
I don't know. There's kind of there's a lot of culture coming out of Missouri, right? St. Louis and all that.
Yeah, there is.
Kind of music scene.
Yeah, we're also 4 hours from Nashville, so.
Oh, right. Oh, there you go. That's the home of it.
Yeah, we like to go there. Me and my wife go there a couple times a year.
Nice. Alrighty. So, without further ado, I think we'll get into some of these episodes right here. My good man, could you tell me your first episode here?
You want me to give you my first favorite or like my third favorite?
Ooh, oh yeah, that's a good question. We're working backwards, right?
Yeah.
Let's go 3 down to 1. Tell me your third favorite.
Can I just throw something in here before we get into that?
Sure.
I just wanted to say, like, picking 3 favorites was not hard because there was a 4th one that I think was the funniest episode ever. I want to give that to season 8, episode 6, A Millhouse Divided.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the episode where Millhouse's parents get a divorce. The dignity joke alone that
yes.
Top 10 episodes of The Simpsons ever.
You don't recognize dignity? That's amazing. I love it.
Cat. And I think as far like The Simpsons is a sitcom, so yeah, pretty much every line they go for a joke, but I don't think any episode had as many gags that were just right on as that episode.
Oh yeah. I love the gladiator scenes. Is that the same episode?
Yeah, it is. Because
oh man,
Millhouse's mom starts dating someone from American Gladiators. I don't remember who it is.
Yeah. Oh man. Wait. So that's the episode that didn't make the list. Jeez. Oh man. The top 3 they squeezed out that one because that's a golden episode.
That's a great episode.
I'm trying to remember. That's not the one where he Milhouse suddenly becomes like a cool kid. Like he becomes all kind of, puts on like a leather jacket.
No, that's a couple of seasons later. This one, Milhouse is still a dork, but he has a little race car.
Oh, man.
And then Kirk puts out his demo tape, Can I Borrow a Feeling?
Yes.
The greatest love song in the song.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Wait, is this the one where Kirk also gets fired from his job?
Yeah.
Right, at the Cracker Factory.
Cracker Factory. Where you find out he went to Gudger College. He just has some great lines. Like when he's getting fired, his boss tells him crackers are a family food. He doesn't know if single people eat crackers, and he doesn't want to.
Frankly, we don't want to know. I love it. I love the in-world universe of the crackers. Like, there's like other companies like Allied Biscuit.
I know. I love Allied Biscuit. His cracker company is tied for 6th in town with Allied Biscuit. What town has 6 cracker factories?
Oh, man. Oh, God. This memories flooding back. I love this. This is an amazing choice. This would be in my top 3. Oh, man.
It plays well because like there's an episode. I can't remember exactly what episode it is, but the kids go to work for a day with the parents. I believe it's the one where Bart gets his license. And it just shows Milhouse at the cracker factory. And they're like riding dog sleds over just hills of salt. And it looks like the funnest thing in the world. All this stuff going on. And then Kirk loses his job. That's bad.
That's the cruel world of the cracker business.
Yeah, it's finicky, man. One day you're in, the next day you're gone.
Cutthroat. There's crackers occupy a very strange place in the British psyche. In that there was an old TV show called Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah,
it's the most British show ever produced. Are you familiar with it? But it's kind of weird.
Maybe seen a few episodes.
Sure, and like there's like, I don't know, they're big into eating like cheese and crackers in the show. Some guy and his dog, and all they eat is cheese and crackers. So I don't know. I feel like
claymation, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the same guys who done Chicken Run.
Yeah,
that film. Maybe. Yeah. But that's it. Crackers to me are just like comedy gold in that they're like this absurd thing that like who actually eats crackers? I don't know. But yeah, there you go.
Just sick people, man.
Yo, oh man, I would love to dwell on this episode, but we got to get to your 3 chosen ones.
All right, man. So my third favorite,
yes sir,
that's going to be season 7, episode 4. Bart sells his soul.
Yo, this is phenomenal.
It is, man. And like I hadn't watched it in a couple of years until I talked to you, and I was thinking, what are my favorite episodes? And it's just such a great episode. I've always been a big fan of Bart and Lisa, they're the classic brother and sister, and they're always at each other's throats, but they always help each other out in the end. And that's just this episode more than any other shows that.
Yeah. Because Lisa kind of sacrifices something at the end to buy the soul back, right?
Yeah. So the basic plot of the episode is, well, it starts with Bart printing up some hymns for church, but they're not actually hymns. They're In-A-Gadda-Na-Vida by Iron Butterfly.
Iron Butterfly.
Reverend Lovejoy's In the Garden of Eden by Iron Butterfly. And then,
I only watched this song for the first time very recently. 17-minute interlude.
Yeah, and Lovejoy's realizing in the middle that it's rock and or roll.
Man.
Yeah, and then Lovejoy wants to know who printed these out. And he's making all these kids recite about how they're gonna burn in hell if they don't tell on who did it. Milhouse immediately turns on Bart. So Lovejoy makes Bart clean the organ, and then he makes Milhouse help him because he snitched.
Oh man.
Oh, it's just classic. So then they get into Bart gets into the argument about how the soul's not real, and Milhouse offers to buy his for $5. Then,
Yes.
and then everything just goes bad. And then it also has that great B story of Moe turning Moe's into a family-style restaurant. Which is just one of the
family feedback.
Yeah, Uncle Moe's family feedback. But there was I wrote down what was it on here? Dr. Hibbert and his family are looking for a place to eat. And his son suggests they eat at Professor PJ's Cornucopia of Fantastic Food Megorium and Great American Steakery. It's cracking me up. It's ridiculous.
That's the genius of The Simpsons, the names of the shops and restaurants in Springfield.
It is.
It's crazy.
And then I'm going to digress back to one thing real quick on
Sure.
Milhouse's parents get divorced. There's something I noticed in that. At the beginning, Marge is talking about having a dinner party in bed with Homer, and Homer's reading a book he's reading a magazine called Hot Lotto Picks Monthly.
But they just like random numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's wild. So this Bart sells his soul. That's also kind of a Milhouse centric episode.
Yeah.
Am I seeing a pattern here?
Well, maybe. I have nothing against Milhouse, but he's not my favorite character. My favorite character, we'll talk about him a little later on.
I'm sure. This episode's cool in that it's kind of The Simpsons satirize everything, right? But they rarely kind of dig into religion, and when they do, it's kind of like they're quite memorable episodes, right? And kind of like this, and the one where they join the sect. Every so often, they kind of take a dive into that world, and sometimes it pays off, and I think it did in this.
I think it did too. I mean, this is kind of a deep episode because,
yeah.
Towards the end, well, as it progresses, Bart tries to get his soul back from Milhouse, but Milhouse obviously traded the soul for Alf Pogs because, I mean, that's the logical progression.
Remember Alf? He's back.
Pog form. Yeah, that great scene where they're at Milhouse's grandma's and both of his parents and his grandmother look exactly alike. Like, I've always wondered whose mother that was. Was it Kirk's or Luann?
It could be either, right?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
But Milhouse is definitely their kid.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, only their combination could produce those blue eyebrows. Exactly. But did they ever reveal whether or not they're related, Kirk and Luann?
They haven't said whether or not they are. I would just assume that they're both very narcissistic and ended up falling in love with someone who looks exactly like themselves.
Yeah. Kirk strikes me as the kind of guy who's not very ambitious in who he'd pick as a partner in life. So he just went for the person who looked exactly like him.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he's not an attractive man, so obviously the woman looks just like him. She doesn't have any options.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. Yeah, I don't know. There's like I love the B story though. It's like it's on another level. Yeah, because I love Moe, right? He's like the super cynical resident of Springfield, and so it's all these quotes from the adverts for his restaurant and all of that, right? Like the burning chips on his head, fries.
It's
sorry,
fine.
Chips.
I know what you mean. Yeah, those $1 million birthday fries. Please take the basket off my head, kid. I also like
the fries are extremely hot.
I also liked when he was trying to come up with names for it, and Homer suggests he needed an American name to bring people in, and Homer suggested what was it? Chairman Moe's Magic Walk. And then he wanted a name that people knew that they could relax in there. So Homer says Madman Moe's Pressure Cooker.
Yes. And all the while Barney's going, I know, like
and
it.
He's covered with a cheek.
This is wild, man. So this is the thing. This is I have an obsession with kind of Americana and that whole kind of like I'm in love with every American diner I've ever stepped into, and but I always feel like they're not authentic in the places that I've been to them. Are those restaurants real? Like, is there a place like Moe's Family Feedback in Missouri?
No, not really.
Oh no,
No.
Well, minus the panic.
There used to be, I'm sure, but now there's not.
Yeah,
there aren't any really. I mean, I live in a pretty small town. We have a diner-ish place, but it's not like the idea of an American diner.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just McDonald's.
It's slowly taking over the world, man.
What else I want to talk about then? Oh, like you were saying, the commercial for Moe's. He said, "Bring your whole family, but not old folks. They're not covered by our insurance." And then the theme song was "Come on down to Uncle Moe's. It's good, 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 good." I don't know if that's brilliant or the laziest writing I've ever heard in my life.
Yo, I'll tell you, it's brilliant because then it cuts to Homer and he goes, "Sounds good."
Yeah. Right. And then when they go there, Homer's shocked to see Moe, the guy from the commercial.
That's crazy, man.
But then it all falls apart. Moe just can't handle the success and the children.
Oh, yeah.
And the little girl says,
"Oh, my freaking ears."
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to mention. That, what was that? That was Rod. He seems pretty impressionable. Because remember, He says, he hears the word freaking, "Ow, my freaking ears." And then he heard Homer say damn once. And all of a sudden, he didn't want any damn vegetables. That kid is a sheep. Yes. He needs to get his own opinions.
He's lived a sheltered life.
He really.
Who could blame him? Is it always? I don't know which is Rod and which is Todd. Is the younger one Rod?
I think.
I don't know. He's the one that's
impressionable. Yeah.
All right.
Something weird I noticed about Todd is like whenever they show kids in formal wear, they're all wearing shorts, but him.
Wow. Hey, I've never noticed that.
It's because he's an adult.
That's crazy. He's actually an adult just hanging with the kids.
He might be.
Oh, hey, that's kind of creepy, man. That's pretty weird. Maybe Flanders is so protective of his kids that like even when they reach like adulthood, they're still there.
Well, what was the episode where Lisa becomes president? You see Rod and Todd as adults, and they're hanging out at Flanders' house, so we don't know.
Yes, but I remember in the early seasons, like season 2 or whatever, when like Rod and Todd were more like they had more of a backbone, right? There's an episode where they got to play golf against Bart, right? And they're competitive and all of that, right? And at some point along the line, they've changed into these like quite timid.
They kind of stunted Rod and Todd as characters. They just made them background characters.
Oh yeah,
I think they did that with pretty much the whole family. Well, not Maude so much anymore. She doesn't really do anything, but I think they kind of just they made Flanders' whole family background characters so they could make Flanders more of a real person.
Oh yeah. Oh right. Oh, so they just. Oh, I see. Yeah. I guess it's so hard to kind of manage this huge ensemble of characters. So they have to like.
You got to give them credit the way they do it. Yeah. That's one of the things I love the most about The Simpsons. Is they have this gigantic cast, and one thing, it's only like 5 voice actors doing it all. And the other thing is they're not afraid to do an episode about Apu or Flanders or Skinner or Moe, and that's one of the things that's kept it going so long.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't like The Simpsons, you get to see the other guys.
Yes. Yeah, it's crazy. How does I can't think of any other show with that number of characters, successfully at least.
I mean, I can't think of any specific show. I'm sure Days of Our Lives or whatever soap operas have that, but
right,
I don't watch a lot of that, so I can't really say.
Old WWF or WWE, or whatever it's called now. There's a ton of characters.
Yeah, that's true.
But never at once, right? They come and go. Anyways, what's the OC like? I don't think I've ever watched an episode of that. Is that like? Is that one of those reality shows?
No,
or
it's scripted. It ran from 2004 to 2007, and it takes place in California, and this rougher city called Chino. This young man's brother steals a car, and he's with him, and the brother ends up going to jail, and the mom kicks the kid out, and he needs a place to stay for the night, and he ends up staying with his public defender who lives in this mansion in Newport Beach, which is the rich area. And then things progress, and he ends up living with them. And then it's kind of like a fish out of the water tale. And then and then it kind of just melds in, and then it's different tales.
Is that the one with the theme tune is Phantom Planet? Is it Phantom Planet? Exactly. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty funky. I'll give it a spin. I think the theme song is enough to pull me in.
I mean, it's a great show. It has its highs and lows, but it has one of the best pilot episodes I've ever seen.
What, like better than Lost?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't really like Lost, though. It never drew me in.
I wish it hadn't drew me in. 6 years later, I didn't know what the hell happened. I was trying to get my time back.
I heard it was purgatory.
If only that would have made more sense. I don't know what the hell it was in the end. It was something kind of like purgatory.
It's all just ripped off of that Simpsons episode where they crash the bus and then all the kids have to live on that island.
Yes. Well, but hang on. I mean, that itself was like a parody, right?
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. Yeah.
I like that Lord of the Flies was a parody of that episode of The Simpsons.
Yes. Yeah, that's how I view most things. You know, I all the time I see it on The Simpsons first, and then I later see whatever it is they're parodying. Right? It's rarely have I seen something and then seen The Simpsons do it. Yeah, it's weird.
I completely agree with that. Let's tell them how the episode ends before we move on. Bart goes to the comic book store to try to buy his soul back, and he's told that someone's already bought it. So he goes home and he starts praying. And then, the piece of paper with his soul written on it falls, and Lisa bought it for him. And it's really sweet. It is, because all throughout the episode, they were antagonizing each other. Bart bought the dinosaur sponges to try to eat Lisa, which, if you haven't seen the episode, doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right. He's fantasizing that if he sprays water on it, right, that these sponges will expand or something.
Little dinosaur-shaped sponge, and he fantasizes that if he sprays the water on it, it's going to turn into a 3-story tall T-Rex and eat Lisa.
Me and my sister have a kind of a Bart and Lisa relationship. It's there's some hostility, but overall it's love, and it's pretty warming like that. I don't know. You have a sister, or you said you had a brother?
I have several brothers. We have varying relationships.
Any of the Bart and Lisa variety?
No. Basically, I get along really well with one of my brothers, and I don't really talk to the other two all that often, but we get along enough.
That's how it goes, right?
My brother Corey does the OC podcast with me.
Yes. Yeah. Check out this podcast. These guys, they do well. There's a third voice in it.
That's right? Another guy named Josh.
Yes.
He's Corey's friend, and when it started, it was just me and Corey, and then Josh just started finding out when we were podcasting and showing up, so we made him part of the podcast.
That's how I guest on most podcasts. I just show up uninvited.
That's a good move.
British people are too polite to send you away, so they'll let you in.
That's good. Maybe I should move to Britain.
No doubt. Yeah. Have you ever been here?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, you got to come. Yeah, it's kind of a relaxed US.
That sounds like the complete opposite of what the US is. Just tension all the time from everyone.
Yeah. We have a habit of just sweeping under the rug any tension. That's the British way.
That does sound good. All right, that sounds good. I'll move in with you.
Cool. For sure. I'll make you a bed right now. Anyways, all right, man. Cool. All right. So as an excellent episode, thanks for sharing that with us. We're gonna move on.
All right.
To your second choice, which I have no doubt is equally amazing.
My second episode is season 9, episode 2, The Principal and the Pauper.
Wow. Okay. All right. This is controversial. I'll let you kind of briefly explain to it what it is, and then I'll let you know why I think it's controversial.
Okay. So it's a very Seymour Skinner heavy episode. Basically, you find out
Yeah.
that Principal Skinner stole the identity of the real Principal Skinner. His real name is Armin Tanzarian. He thought Seymour Skinner was killed. They were in the army together. He thinks Seymour Skinner is killed. So when he goes to tell his mother what happened, he doesn't have the heart to do it and just ends up assuming his identity.
Yeah, so I believe every listener on this podcast knows exactly which episode this is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Well, so let me tell you what I think and why it is controversial in my view. So I think this is the worst episode ever produced. And not only is it the worst episode, I think it's like the watershed. I think it's the marker that was the down, like, it's when the Simpsons start going downhill.
So we call that jumping the shark. When a show speaking goes down?
Yes. Yeah, they jump the shark. And you like this. You like this episode, despite that.
Here's why. Man. I love character development. Like, it's my favorite thing ever in shows. And this develops Skinner more than anything ever could, and then just completely ignores it. It changes everything about Principal Skinner, and then at the very end, they're just like, never mind.
Yeah, they developed him in the sense that they wiped out his existing history, wrote in a new one, and then he undid that.
Yes, exactly. At the end of the episode, they literally make it illegal to mention this episode ever again by penalty of torture.
I think it's a tribute to the success of The Simpsons in that they can get away with an episode like that. A lesser show could not do that.
They couldn't. I love it. I get where everybody's coming from when they say that's awful. They shouldn't have done that. And they probably shouldn't. But I love it.
All right. So, yeah, I'm sure you could pick out some note quotables. And
I can. Like, at the beginning of the episode where Edna Krabappel offers Superintendent Chalmers coffee-flavored Beverine. And Chalmers says he takes it gray with creamium. Creamium. I think the name Armin Tanzarian is funny. When Bart's chosen, first off, Bart for some reason is chosen to provide the snacks for the anniversary dinner for Principal Skinner. Why would Bart ever be chosen to do that? Because clearly he's just going to put dog food on a tray and put American flags in it and call it America Balls, which is what he does.
Bart's always given these weird tasks, right? There's an episode where he has to do a firework display for some Japanese visitors or something. Why is this delinquent student selected to do these things?
Maybe they just want to give him chance after chance after chance. But I guess when you've been 10 years old for 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are bigger questions that need to be answered.
I love when the real Skinner shows up and they ask him where he's been, and he says, it's kind of a funny story. I've been in a slave labor camp for 30 years. And Marge says, that's not funny. And he says, I guess you had to be there.
It's so cold. It's like, oh man. So the setting of the scene is that for some reason the Simpsons are there in the back room of some school. Why are they there listening into this story?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is absurd.
It really is. And then Armin Tamzarian, the fake Principal Skinner, reveals how he ended up in the army, which was he stole the lady's purse and ran over a judge, and his options were the army, jail, or apologizing.
He was a maverick. He was a renegade, right?
He was. And then I also like that later in the episode, he doesn't know who Ned Flanders is.
Yeah, what's the name he says? Oh, yeah, Lovejoy or something.
Yeah. Like, you'd never think of something like that.
Oh, man. It's the first time you see him out of the whatever that ugly suit he wears. But he's just like...
Yes, yeah. And I wrote about that his casual clothes, you never see him in casual
like his casual clothes are like equally dorky. Like it's like a turtleneck or something, or like
yes, absolutely.
Oh man, he dresses exactly like what you imagine primary school teachers, elementary school teachers to dress.
You
like.
could say primary.
All right, yeah. Sorry, I feel like it's a habit I picked up with every American. I end up like awkwardly translating words.
It's fine. I watch Doctor Who. I know everything.
That's an excellent primer into British English. Yeah. I don't know. Here's the odd thing earlier. Like, so I swear cream isn't a thing in the UK. Like, you don't put cream in your coffee. So like this creamium joke is like extra funny to me. Like, what the hell? Like, cream is already a very alien term. Like, and now there's like some synthesized version of.
But you would have laughed about cream.
I don't know what the hell that is, man. I've had a random flashback of some other episode. I don't know the episode. It's just maybe it's the same one where they get like a fake. I think it's a comptroller or something. I think that's some job title. Like there's the state comptroller who's like it's his job to go around schools or something. He's like the level up from Superintendent Chalmers.
The comptroller is a real thing. I think they're in charge of financials. So it's the episode where Lisa gets a test score so high that the school qualifies for a basic assistance grant, but she cheated and tries to rat on herself, so they hire a fake comptroller played by Otto.
And now for the real comptroller. I don't know. So I thought the comptroller was this episode. That for some reason he was in the school auditorium. While there's one thing is weird in this episode is that Skinner's mom seems to know that he wasn't Skinner. Right? That she kind of hints in some of the things she says that she knew all along.
Yeah, when he comes to tell her that Skinner is missing, presumed dead, she pushes him into saying that he is, Seymour, and then tells him where his bedroom is.
Yeah, second door on the left. So weird.
Yeah. And Skinner makes a note of that. He says, on some level, I think she really knew, but the lie made us both happier than the truth ever could.
That's deep, man. You ever watch a show, Mad Men?
Yeah.
That's kind of like this, right? The Don Draper is like he's a deserter, but he's kind of taken on somebody else's life after coming back from war.
Yeah.
Jeez, do you think this was?
I think it was based on this
Wow. Probably, yeah. Yeah, and while Skinner's living a regular life, the other guy is struggling to settle into the school, right? What is the other guy's name? Oh, Skinner. Yeah, he's the real Skinner.
His real name is Skinner. Played by Martin Sheen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Skinner, or Armin Tamzarian, the fake Skinner, goes back to Capital City, where he holds up a billboard for a strip club as a job.
Yes.
That's a pretty good job.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say like that, right? We have 6 hot girls.
Yeah. They're so nude, they're not even wearing a smile.
Wowzers, all of that, right? He's like, oh man, those are the worst jobs, man. I can't do those sign holding jobs, man.
That's all right. You don't hold up a sign for this podcast?
Yeah, it's maybe I should do. Yeah, get more exposure. Just like walk down the road, flipping around the.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's what's the deal with Capital?
I can't think of it. What's that?
I was like, what's the deal with Capital City anyway? It's like it's some random town that they just pops up whenever they need it to pop up for a storyline.
It is. It's 30 miles away, and they mention it in like 3 episodes.
And I swear the skyline of it changes. Someday it looks kind of like New York, and you feel like it's a parody of New York. Then at other times it's like DC or something, and it's all political buildings and government buildings, and it's such a weird, flexible town.
Well, yeah, it just changes over time.
Yeah. What's your theory on where Springfield is?
Illinois.
Oh wow. Wait, Chicago, because that's like the next state over for you.
That's actually the state I'm in.
Oh, right. I see. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, but
I just say St. Louis because that's the closest city that anyone knows.
I see. All right. Okay. Well, hang on. So there's some bias here that you think it's in Illinois.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I reckon it's in Oregon, but that's kind of that's the easy answer.
Yeah, it could be in Ohio. In the Super Bowl episode, she says Springfield, Ohio.
Ohio mod, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. That's them letting it slip. I went to Seattle a couple months back, and they've got a monorail in Seattle, and they reckon it's the same monorail that inspired the monorail episode, right? Because it's I think Groening is from kind of vaguely near the Northwest. And he's probably,
right.
you probably saw this monorail. But what I remember reading that I think like 10 years ago or something, there was some town hall meeting to scrap the monorail, right, or expand the monorail or something, and like the anti-monorail lobby circulated the clip from the Simpsons episode of the monorail song as like part of their propaganda to like tear down the monorail. Like they really don't want to, like, here's this warning from some TV show 20 years ago.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah. They won somehow. I'm telling you, the anti-monorail lobby are a powerful bunch. If they set their mind to something meaningful, they might actually change the world.
Oh, man. Well, let's hope they don't do that.
There you go. Yeah. That's all good. Yeah, so all right, yeah, cool. Sorry, but back to this episode.
So one of the things I love is when they decide to go get Armin Tamzarian from Capital City. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but Homer's driving and he's asking why everyone's in the car.
Yeah. He goes, "Hey, why is Grandpa here?"
Because Jasper didn't want to come alone.
Yes. Why is Patty here? Why is all that's and they find him like living like really bad conditions, right? Like is he just like on a mattress or something?
Yeah, he's on a mattress on the floor drinking a little tiny bottle of some form of liquor. Talking about how this is his life now, and this is his copy of Swank magazine.
He's got that same stubble that every character seems to have, that 5 a.m. shadow or whatever. One of my all-time favorite scenes, it's not this, but it's related. I don't know what the circumstances are, but some house collapses, and inside is Lenny sitting in his underwear, eating cereal. And he says to whoever's out there, "Please don't tell him how I live."
Is it the episode where Marge starts doing real estate?
Yes. That's it. Oh man, that's the pre Phil Hartman disappearing era.
Yeah, the sad era.
For real.
See, Lenny gets to move up because he ends up moving in that apartment that shares a wall with a bocce ball court.
Yes. And he's got the nice TV.
I don't want you to worry about him.
You made it in the end.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right, yeah. So how does this episode come to a climax? Right, they convince Skinner to come back.
They convince Skinner to come back, and then the real Skinner points out that he's the real guy, and fake Skinner should leave. And Homer says he has a solution that'll work out for everyone. So then they tie Skinner to a train and just drive him away. And then the judge shows up and says that he decrees Armin Tamzarian the name and life of Seymour Skinner, and that no one is ever going to mention it again under threat of torture.
Swift justice and a kind of a crazy ending. Like, oh man, I tell you honestly, I think if it was any other show, I think I would have stopped watching there and then. I'd be like, listen, this is nonsense. I don't know.
It was nonsense, but you got to accept that.
You're right. Oh man, I don't know. It's
it can't all not be nonsense.
Yeah. But I love that. If you chart the progress of the show, I mean, was this like written? Like, did they fire the good writers around this time? Was that a thing?
Well, yeah, isn't what season was this? We was on 7, right?
This is like season 9. Oh man, this
No,
is earlier
season
than I
9.
thought.
So yeah, season 9, isn't that when most of the original writers left?
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
Or was
Yeah,
it
that would
something
explain
like
a
that?
lot.
They had like the best crew, I think, starting at season 3,
Mm.
and then they left somewhere like season 9, 10, or 11.
Oh, like Conan O'Brien is one of the heavy hitters,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't know what he's probably around that time.
Yeah. Do you ever watch like the DVDs with commentary or anything?
No, but I feel like I should.
You should check it out. It's worth. Too bad you don't have the FX app. They actually
Oh
have
man,
commentary on there and everything.
jeez, why? FX, what are you doing? Come to the UK. Jeez. So, what did they get like the old writers to comment or something? Or
Yeah,
oh
it's all
man,
the original writers, and like they have Conan O'Brien on there for quite a few, and then typically
wow,
when they have the guest stars on the show, they can get them to do the commentary as well.
wow, that's pretty cool, man. I'm gonna dig that up. The well, yeah, maybe I'll find them on DVD or something, um, or I'll pirate them.
Yeah, just one more thing.
Yes.
When Principal Skinner takes over the school, he
Mm.
gives a speech, and his entire speech is, in many ways, Springfield is better than the old slave labor camp.
And they all applaud, right?
They all applaud.
Oh man, I forgot about the other line too. I think it's Superintendent Chalmers goes, Armand Tanzaria's reign of terror is over.
Yep. And I love that they just give him the job because he's Principal Skinner. He has no qualifications.
Hey, I'll tell you, the elementary school game is as corrupt as the cracker business. It's who you know, not what you know.
You're right. My wife's
Yo.
actually an elementary school teacher, so I'll talk to her about it and find out.
She'll expose it all. All right, so I think we have done I think you've done a great job on that episode, but I'm very keen to hear number 1. So, drum roll, please.
All right, so
Go.
my favorite episode ever is season 11, episode 14, Alone Again, Natra Diddley.
Wow. Okay. This is a good one. This is the one where Maud passes away.
It is.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll let you briefly describe it to us. But again, I have an opinion on this one, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Well, before
It's a great episode.
One of the reasons I love this episode is because I love Ned Flanders, and he's probably my favorite character that's ever been created, not just in The Simpsons. Like anything with Ned Flanders, I love. I literally have a Ned Flanders action figure right next to me.
Wow. They made those?
Yeah.
He's an amazing character. He's so much depth to him.
He really is. And I love any episode where he has even just a little crisis of faith. Because he's a very godly man, you know? And I'm not really a religious guy, but I appreciate that even in a character.
Sure. Yeah.
And I love when he's just pushed to ask questions.
Wait, when he asks like Reverend Lovejoy questions, or you mean
just when he questions his faith?
Oh yeah. Geez, oh man, this episode's a big one for him.
Yeah,
he's probably the character that like speaks the most outside of the family, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I love how he progressed from just being Homer's neighbor that he didn't really get along with to being his best friend.
Yeah. This is crazy, man.
It's sad that his family had to get pushed to background characters, but it is what it is. We only have so much screen time.
Right. Yeah. So here's my quick thoughts on this episode. So I think this might be another one of those ones that kind of marked. This is another jump in the shark episode, no?
You can't jump the shark twice. It only happens once.
I got it, but there was a second shark all along. You jump both. I don't know. You jumped two at the same time. They lined up. I don't know. It was like one of those Evel Knievel stunts. They jumped two sharks.
Well, you know where the term "jump the shark" comes from?
Yeah. It's like Happy Days or something,
Yeah.
right?
When Fonzie literally jumped a shark.
Literally. Jeez.
So maybe. Still love this episode. Still love Flanders. I still love making my wife watch this episode with me because she hates it so much.
Right, because the guy's wife is killed. I'd feel nervous too.
It's not a threat, man. It's
Oh man. All right, yeah. So yeah, please take it away.
So it starts with the Simpsons going on a hike, but it turns out that the wildlife preserve has been sold to NASCAR, some kind of car racing thing. So they end up going to a race instead, which, it happens to the best of us. And obviously everyone in town is there, as they are at every single event. The Simpsons are at the very top and the Flanders are right behind him, because Ned is only there because he loves the safety gear, and he doesn't want to move closer because he might hear the driver's curse. And at some point during the festivities, some cheerleaders show up with t-shirt cannons and, shoot t-shirts at people. Homer draws a bullseye on his stomach and gets them all to fire at him. But at the very last minute, he sees a bobby pin on the ground and bends down to pick it up, and all the t-shirts hit Maud, and she falls off the stadium.
Yeah, that's terrible. What a way to go.
It is. I don't know why you're laughing at that. You're like,
I'm horrified by But yeah, they've got like the worst seats in the house, right? They
truly were
right at the edge.
Yeah.
Jeez. You know what's interesting is that I think this whole t-shirt cannon is a very American sports thing. There's none of that going on over here. I don't,
There's none of that going on over here. It's all fake.
Oh, it's fake.
TV.
Oh man,
I've never been to a sports event where they had t-shirt cannons.
Oh man, this is shattering my dreams right now. Oh god,
we don't give away free t-shirts here in the U.S.
All right, yeah, I see.
The theory is, why shoot it out of a cannon when you can sell it?
Yeah, for a tidy sum at the merch stall. My own real exposure to U.S. sports is the Super Bowl, and it's a very exaggerated affair. And so, in my mind, it's all kind of cheerleaders and t-shirt cannons and all of that.
Yeah, it kind of is, but except for the t-shirt. Yeah.
Sure.
Just anytime you see anyone getting anything for free, it's fake. They just did it on TV.
Oh man, hey listeners, this is it. This is inside info. We've rumbled the establishment. It's all fake. It's that's crazy, man. I don't know.
The only time I've ever been given anything for free at a sports event was when I was like 10, and I got an America Online disc.
You don't even have to leave your house for that. They'll post that through your door.
They will. Absolutely.
You know what's? I think I read some article. The guy who used to voice the "You've Got Mail" thing, they tracked him down years later, and he was like, it had all gone wrong for him. He was homeless and all of that, and which is sad because like he has such that's kind of an iconic notification there. You've got mail.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of a tragic ending. That's it. I think the three brutal industries are crackers, schools, and voiceovers for old internet service providers.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't heard anything about the Ask Jeeves guy in years. Do you have Ask Jeeves over there?
Oh, yeah. I haven't used that for like 15 years.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know. There's like...
actual voiceover.
There's a nice icon, at least. I like to think there was a real Jeeves at some point. Do you remember that news story about Yahoo getting hacked? And they said they had like 1 billion accounts were compromised. And I was sat there thinking, I don't think there's 1 billion Yahoo accounts. No way do 1 billion people still use Yahoo.
No. I have to disagree with you. Because
all right.
Occasionally, I get emails on my Gmail account that someone is trying to log into my Yahoo account that I haven't logged into in 10 or 15 years. So I don't think Yahoo ever deactivates the accounts.
Jeez. Oh, man.
That's
Well, it's good to hear that somebody's using it.
Yeah, it's true, I guess.
At least for nefarious purposes. But I don't know.
I don't even know why you would hack a Yahoo account. Like, what's on them?
Hey, man, you're free to have my spam if you want it. If you can hack into my account, you're welcome to my spam.
Do you want to see all my emails from middle school? Knock yourself out. Just ask. I'll send them to you.
Gee, I feel like I started using Yahoo. This back in the days when Hotmail would give you like 2 megabytes of storage or something.
Yeah.
But Yahoo gave you 6. And that's literally the only reason I switched over.
I vaguely remember that.
Hey, those guys made millions off of burner email accounts. They've done well for themselves.
They have. I can't take anything away from them. But then Gmail came out and they were giving you 2 gigabytes. It was just unheard of.
They flipped the script.
Like, how do they even have that many hard drives to give?
It's all fake, man. Nothing's free. They probably, like, if you go looking for those old emails, they probably, like, generate fake emails that you probably would have sent. Some algorithm has learned how you wrote. I don't remember sending this email.
Maybe.
Yeah. How do we get on this? Oh, yeah. Right, yeah. You got the free AOL disc.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so on TV you get T-shirts. In real life you get AOL discs.
I feel like we're on a journey into the kind of the real US. All right, so back to this episode, right? So Flanders, his wife, it's a wrap for her at the game, and then he has to kind of come to terms with that, right?
Yeah. There's a great scene where, well, right before she dies, the last thing Ned says to her is no footlongs. So a footlong is a long hot dog. I don't know if you have those over there.
Yeah. Familiar with the term from Subway.
Oh, there you go. So it's like that with a hot dog. Because they make Ned uncomfortable. Yeah. Which comes up later when he's talking to Homer about it. And Homer tells him, yeah, it would have been better if he said something like, I love you.
Oh, man.
That's a fantastic way to comfort him.
Oh, man. Homer says these cold lines. Like, back to that first episode of Milhouse's parents getting divorced. Right. Homer says something to Kirk, right? He goes, Kirk says to him, I sleep in a race car, do you? He goes, no, I sleep in a bed with my wife. Just it's heartless. I don't know.
He really is. Maybe he's dumb, but I just like to think of him as just a mean man. He has that Max Power side to him.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's a great scene where Homer and Marge are getting ready for the funeral, and Homer starts to talk about how much he loves her and how he's never going to let her leave the room without explaining how he feels. But that takes too much time, so he's just going to pat her on the butt every day, which is a tactic I use with my wife.
Yeah.
Just, so she knows whenever I pat her on the butt, that's me explaining how deeply I feel for her.
Hey, as long as she accepts that, that's cool. That's one way of communicating.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
For sure. It's very sweet in a way. I don't know, man. After Weinstein and all of that, I'm cautious about touching anyone.
Well, she's my wife, so I'm gonna.
You're all right. You're good. Doesn't Flanders meet another woman or something?
Kind of, not really. That's one of the weird things is the scope of this episode. Like, takes place over several months, which is not what a typical episode does.
So usually like it's like a day or something,
right? No, it's like a week, right? Because it's a week between episodes. So I always assumed it was a week.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, you're right.
But
I'm just thinking of random ones. This predates him getting together with Edna by like 15 years or something, right?
This is way before.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be pretty messed up if not.
Yeah.
But, you know what? He goes on a date with Edna in this episode.
Really? Oh. Is this like a precursor?
So at the end of the episode, towards the end of the episode, well, really halfway through the episode, I guess it's been a couple of months. So Homer makes a tape of Ned to give to a dating service. So the end of the episode is Ned going on dates with all these women, and one of them is he's at Edna Krabappel's having dinner with her. And he says, "That was delicious, Edna, but I can't shake the feeling that you're just going out with me to make Principal Skinner jealous." And she says, "I don't care what Mr. Engaged to be engaged says about that. Do you hear me?" And then it's Skinner on the phone the whole time. So she had Skinner on the phone the whole date.
Man, sorry, again, a random flashback. There's a scene I absolutely love. Skinner and Edna having dinner at home. I think it's the episode where the kids are running a radio station, and something comes over the airwaves saying, "Guess who's been stealing lunch equipment from the school?" And Principal Skinner is like shocked. They go, "Yeah, Edna's been stealing lunch trays." And Skinner's shocked, and he's like, "No, don't worry, I'll bust my own tray." And he gets up.
And I love I love that episode because every time they brought something up, they're like, "And guess who's been practicing medicine without a license?" That's right. Yes. Also Homer Simpson. And then at the end of that, they're like, "We'll be back on tomorrow with lots more dirt." And Homer's like, "Well, at least they don't have anything else on me." And they say, "And we have plenty more on Homer Simpson."
Homer Simpson is the greatest single TV character ever. I don't care, man. He's the best.
He very well could be. He has a lot of range.
You know that. Jeez, who voices Flanders?
Hank Azaria, I think.
Oh, really? That guy does everyone.
Yeah, he does, man. It's crazy. Yeah, but pretty much everyone on the cast does, except for the girl who does Lisa. I think she just does Lisa.
Oh, yeah. She's got like the easiest job in the world. And I think the woman who does Bart just does Bart.
Yeah, maybe. If you ever look up their credits on IMDb for The Simpsons, it's crazy how many characters they have.
Really? Oh, the guy who does Shearer, Shearer, does like Burns and Smithers, and he'll do the full conversation.
I would like to see them record that sometime. That'd be neat.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that's cool. Is this the episode where I think Flanders has 2 tickets to a Christian rock concert? But no, he thinks it's a Christian rock concert, but it's Chris Rock in concert or something. Is that a gag? Right, yeah. Okay, that's cool. So does Flanders find the one?
He doesn't. The one's gone for Flanders. He's just got to find number 2.
Rest in peace.
You know, he goes on dates with all of the eligible Springfield bachelorettes like Lindsay Naegle and Edna Krabappel. So,
what's the deal with Lindsay Naegle? I don't know. Like, she seems to work every job.
She does.
She's like generic corporate employee.
She's generic businesswoman. Yeah. And I guess this was before Cookie Kwan because she's not in this episode. But you think when they're dating the single ladies of Springfield, she'd make the cut.
Oh yeah. Well, she runs the west side. You know, maybe Flanders is on the east side.
I've never seen an accurate map of Springfield.
Have you ever seen Glengarry Glen Ross?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, I watched it about 2 weeks ago. You got to watch it. It's basically the real estate episode is essentially a parody of that. And the character of Gil is lifted straight out of that film. Right, yeah. So Flanders tries every bachelorette.
And it just doesn't work out. So that's when he has his little crisis of faith, and he's praying, and he says he's got to question God's decision to take his wife from him. And then when he gets no response,
wow,
he decides he's not going to church anymore. His kids come in and tell him it's time for church, and he says, "I'm not going to church today, and I might not go to church tomorrow."
Oh, wow. Jeez.
It was pretty heavy stuff for Flanders. So he's lying in bed talking to God, and he's saying, "I mean it. I'm not going." And then in the next scene, he's racing to church apologizing.
That's Yeah, he's I really feel for him in this. Uh, yeah, I don't know.
I
That's
always feel
crazy.
Flanders, even when he
Is this?
marries some bimbo in Vegas.
Yeah, why did he call her up?
Yeah, true. I feel like
Bring
a lot
her
of his
back.
problems are not brought on by him, but by Homer.
Yes.
Frank Grimes might have been onto something.
Funny, we'd listen to him. Is this a separate episode to the one where he builds the Praise Land theme park?
Yeah, that's later on.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so he takes his time before building this shrine.
He finds her sketchbook a little later on.
Ah.
And then they have that gas leak and tackle the orphans.
It's always the same orphans.
It is. You think someone would adopt them by now.
And one of them's always got that crazy cough.
Yes. That's not funny, but it's hilarious. You wouldn't think orphans coughing would be that funny.
Oh, man. This is beautiful. I think you've turned my opinion around on this episode. I think I was just, I was drawn in by the internet hype of calling it a shark jumper.
You can't believe the internet. I'm on there and I lie constantly.
Even this very sentence.
When Flanders gets to church and there's a rock band playing and he goes, "Oh no, the dropouts must have overpowered the Reverend." What dropouts? What the hell is he talking about?
Well, like Sunday school dropouts or something. Is that what he's?
Well, there was that episode where they said Bart was kicked out of Sunday school. Maybe there's more of them.
Do you know my favorite? There's this crazy scene where they're teaching sex ed to the kids in some class, but like right before they play the video, there's two kids who are from some religious denomination, and Krabappel says to them, Ezekiel and Ishmael, you're excused according to your parents' wishes, and they're like an extreme version of Ron and Todd. Yeah. You know what I'm on about? They don't give Christianity an easy time.
They don't. But.
Man, that was beautiful. I want to thank you for that episode and all the others.
Well, I'm glad I could change your mind on everything.
Thank you. I feel like a new man.
I'm just nodding and I'm praising myself with nods.
Oh yeah, you've done a good job. But the listeners, of course, might mail in with much anger. So listeners, make sure you send your hate mail direct to Josh.
Yeah,
and bypass me entirely.
Just hit us up on Twitter. It's at PortlandCA. If you have hate mail, send it there.
I might send in a few just to prime the pump. Get the hatred going.
That'd be great. I appreciate that.
Listen, Josh, this has been amazing. We are sadly coming to the end now, but there's a few bonus questions that I'd love to hear because you definitely know your stuff when it comes to The Simpsons. So tell me, who are your favorite side characters?
My favorite is obviously Ned Flanders.
Oh yeah,
but you know who
gotta have him.
There are two other guys who I don't think ever got enough credit, and one is Herb Powell.
Wow, rewinding the clock here.
I know. I can't believe they've never brought him back. He's only been in 2 episodes, and it blows my mind.
Yeah. So for our listeners, this is Homer's half brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of ran his course though, right? I think in the second episode they did all they needed to do with him.
They got him back to status quo, but it would be good just to see him again, just to catch him.
Oh, for sure. Do you think Danny DeVito he probably needs the work right now?
No, he's on Always Sunny, so I figured that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That keeps him in.
Yeah, true.
Alcoholic Hams.
Pays the rent. So who's the other character?
Burns' son.
Wow. Yes. Yo, R.I.P. Rodney Dangerfield.
I know, man. I loved Rodney Dangerfield so much. I would have loved one more episode with him.
For sure.
I know it's the same way. We kind of ran our course with him, but I just like the character so much. I would have loved to see just another one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I watched that before I even knew who he was, and the style of humor was so weird that I didn't get it the first time. But on like subsequent viewings, I was like, "This is amazing."
Yeah,
this is
exactly. Like I wasn't there when they filmed it, but there's no way he wasn't ad-libbing most of that. It was such Rodney Dangerfield style.
Yeah. All his like speech patterns and all of that,
Exactly.
right? I loved it. Those are amazing choices. Usually people pick like really obvious ones. That's actually pretty cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. So we are definitely at the end here now, which I'm sad to see this end because I've had a lot of fun recording this. And I always love to record this with people who really know their stuff because I think it makes for great listening. Do you have any final words before we wrap up, or anything you'd like to plug?
Yes, I would love to plug everything I have. Check out my podcast. Just go to PortlandCA.com or look us up on iTunes or whatever podcast app you use. You can check us out on Facebook, PortlandCA, or you can hit us up on Twitter at PortlandCA.
Listeners, check out all of that. I've had to listen to their podcast. It's really fun listening. Three dudes having a good time talking about a show they love. That's a great formula for sure. Cool. Thanks again, and cheers, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
A pleasure. See you. Peace.